Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter 70th verse. Adhyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadamavayoho jnana yajnena tainaham ishta syamiti me matihi. Jnana yajnena tenaham ishta syamiti me matihi. Yaha, one who, cha and avayoho of us, our, imam this dharmyam sacred samvadam dialogue, adhyeshyate will study, tena by that person, aham I, jnana yajnena by the yajna of knowledge, ishtaha worshipped, syam shall have been, iti such my matihi conviction. So Sri Krishna tells that a person who studies this sacred dialogue or sacred samvada, conversation between us, that is Sri Krishna and Arjuna, that person would have worshipped me, that is God, by the yajna of knowledge. That is my conviction. So Sri Krishna himself is convinced that a person who studies Bhagavad Gita, that is the conversation between Arjuna and Sri Krishna, that person would have studied Bhagavad Gita and would have worshipped. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one would worship God by the yajna of knowledge. Now, we find many places there is Gita yajna or Jnana yajna where Gita is studied or Gita is expounded. And why is it so? Because yajna means a sacrifice. Generally, it pertains to a Vedic sacrifice. It refers to a Vedic sacrifice, this word yajna. And yajna can be done in various ways. One is a ritual or a vidhi. The other way to do yajna is japa. You repeat the name of God. Then upamshu, that is, you pray in a low voice, that is, you pray in a low voice so that others don't hear, but it is nonetheless vocal. Then final yajna is manasa or prayer that is offered in the mind. So Jnana yajna or Jnana yajnena tena aham ishtaha. So Jnana yajna, which is what Sri Krishna talks of here, he says anybody who studies this sacred conversation has performed the yajna of knowledge. And so Jnana yajna. Jnana yajna or the yajna of knowledge is a manasa yajna, and so is the highest. Study of the Gita would produce the same effect that is produced by manasa yajna. And Sri Krishna is convinced that this study of Bhagavad Gita would be nothing but manasa yajna. That is his conviction. Then he says, Shraddhavan anasuyascha shrunuyadapi yo narah sopi muktah shubhan lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. Shraddhavan, full of shraddha, anasuyah, free from malice, cha, and yaha, who, narah, man, shrunuyat, will hear, api, even, saha, he or that person, api, too, Muktaha, liberated, Punya Karmanam, of those of righteous deeds, Shubhan, happy, Lokan, the worlds, Prapnuyat, shall attain to. So a person who hears this, even a person who hears this, full of Shraddha and free from any malice, Anasuyaha. Anasuyaha means one who does not have any malice. That person too. So a person who does not even understand the doctrine which has been told in this text, but just listens to it and is free from malice, that person also will attain to the worlds, Shubhan Lokan, happy worlds, that is, worlds which a person who has done Punya Karma, righteous actions, virtuous actions, attains. Some people perform Punya Karma, they perform righteous actions or virtuous actions, meritorious actions, and they get to go to some spheres like the Brahma Loka, Indra Loka, etc. But a person who has studied the Bhagavad Gita, or one who has just listened to Bhagavad Gita, not even has understood it, has not understood it, even understood it. That person, if that person is having full of Shraddha, that means is sincere and has faith in God, in Guru, in the text, etc., and is free from malice, then that person is also liberated and will attain to the same worlds which a person who has done much punya attains to. That is, a person who has done lot of virtuous acts or meritorious acts attains to the same world this person also will attain. Then Sri Krishna says, so even listening to Bhagavad Gita is a great thing. Even if you don't understand, just listening to it is a great thing. Then Sri Krishna says, Kachid etat shrutam partha tvayai kagrena chetasa kachid ajnana sammoha pranashtaha te dhananjaya. So Partha, son of Pritha or Kunti, tvaya, by you, ekagrena, attentively, with focus, with a focused mind or concentrated mind, chetasa, with mind, etat, this, kachit, whether shrutam has been heard, dhananjaya, O Dhananjaya, te, your ajnana sammoha, the sammoha or delusion of ajnana or ignorance, kachit, whether pranashtaha has been destroyed. Generally, when someone asks a question to a speaker or a teacher, and once the question is answered, the teacher or the speaker wants to know whether the answer was satisfactory, whether the question was properly answered, whether the point has been properly cleared. So in the 18th chapter, in the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is asking the same question to Arjuna. He is asking, have you heard this? Whatever I said now in this Gita, have you heard it with an attentive mind? Have you heard it with an attentive mind? And has your delusion of ignorance been destroyed? So you were in the beginning, that is the first chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So Arjuna was deluded. He was in a cat on the wall situation, so to say. He did not know whether to go and fight the war or not to fight the war. He had reached the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but he was in two minds about it. And finally, he gave up his weapon, Gandiva, and simply sat on the chariot. So he finally decided that he will not fight the war. So that was a deluded state. So Sri Krishna is asking, has your delusion born out of ignorance? been destroyed. So just like a doctor asks, has your fever been cured? Means fever doctor can measure oneself. The temperature can be measured by thermometer. But how are you feeling? Now are you feeling well? That is a question doctors ask the patients, just to make sure, just to confirm that the treatment worked. So to this question, Arjuna replies, Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna said, Nashto mohaha smritir labdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. This is a verse which is like nectar to the ears of a teacher. Like Arjuna is saying, Achyuta. Achyuta means a person who does not waver, from one's goal. Here it refers to Sri Krishna. Achyuta. Mohaha, the delusion, nashtaha is destroyed, maya by me, tvat prasadat, because of your grace or through your grace, smritihi, memory, labdha, has been gained, stitaha, firm, asmi, I am, gata sandeha, I am free from all sandeha or doubts, tava, your vachanam, words, karishye, I will do. So Arjuna is saying, my delusion has been destroyed. Nashto mohaha. And I have gained smritir labdha. I have gained my memory through tvat prasadat, because of your grace. And I am firm, sthita asmi. I am firm that gata sandeha, my doubts have all gone. And I will do what you said. So, what is the memory he got? The memory about the true nature of self. About his true nature. Memory of his true nature he got. And firm, sthitosmi, firm in what? Firm in your command. I am firm in following. I have resolved. I have made up my mind that I will follow what you have said. And what have you said? You have said to just follow the Swadharma. And my Swadharma, because I am a Kshatriya, is to fight a war. So you have said, follow the Swadharma, because eventually your prarabdha karma or karmas have to be worked out, and you are not the body and the mind, you are the Atman. So that is why I am firm. Because what is a Shastra? Shastra is something that disciplines you. By disciplining your mind and your sense organs and yourself, then it clears all doubts. Sarva samshayaha, all doubts, chidyante, they are cleared. And chidyante sarva vidyante hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha. So when the knot of heart or the knot of the conscious and the unconscious is broken, is opened up, then all the doubts are dispelled. And the recognition of the true self comes, one's true self, true nature, one's true nature. So here Arjuna is now firm. He has understood everything what has been told. Now, the proper Gita ends here. But even now 5 verses are there. They are just like the Gita when it started. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Dhritarashtra asked a question and Sanjaya gave reply. So because it is part of Mahabharata, the other 5 verses are just connecting it with the rest of the Mahabharata. Sanjaya uvacha. Sanjaya said, Ityaham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanah samvadam imam ashrausham adbhutam romaharshanam. Aham, I, iti, thus, Vasudevasya, of Vasudeva, Mahatmanah, high souled or great souled, Parthasya of Partha, son of Pritha, that is Kunti, son of Kunti, Cha and Imam, this Roma Harshanam, which causes the hair to stand on its end, which causes a kind of a horripilation. That means hair stands on end because of joy. Roma Harshanam. Roma is hair. Harshanam means it is joyous. That means it will stand on its end. Adbhutam, wonderful. Samvadam, dialogue or conversation. Ashrausham, I have heard. So Sanjaya said, thus I have heard this wonderful dialogue between Vasudeva and the great Partha, which made my hair stand on its end. So who is Sanjaya addressing? Dhritarashtra. He is telling this to Dhritarashtra. Vyasa prasadat shrutavan imam guhyamaham param yogam yogeshwarat krishnat sakshat kathayata swayam. Aham, I, Vyasa prasadat, through the grace of Vyasa. Why through the grace of Vyasa? Because Mahabharata has been written by Vyasa, but not because of that, because this is being told by Sanjaya after he saw what happened in the battlefield, sitting in the kingdom, sitting in the castle. So that is why he is saying. Why he could see that? Because he had been given a divine power of seeing what is happening in the battlefield from where he was. Kind of a live telecast, Divya Chakshu. And that was given by whom? That was given by Vyasa. So Vyasa Prasadat. So I am seeing this, through the grace of Prasadat, through the grace of Vyasa. Vyasa Prasadat. Through the grace of Vyasa, Imam, this Param, supreme, Guhyam, most profound, most secret, the secret, most secret, Yogam, yoga, Kathayatah, speaking, Swayam, himself, Sakshat, direct, Yogeshwarat, from the Lord of Yoga, Krishnat, from Krishna, Shrutavan, I have heard. So because of the grace of Vyasa, I have heard this yoga being spoken. And this is supreme and profound yoga directly from Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, himself speaking it. I have heard this. Then he says, Rajan. Rajan means Dhritarashtra. He is addressing Dhritarashtra. Rajan samsmritya samsmritya. Samvadam imam adbhutam. Keshavarjunayoho punyam hrishyami cha muhurmuhu. So, Rajan, O king, Keshavarjunayoho, between Keshava. Keshava means one who killed Keshi, that is a demon, Asura, Keshi. One who killed Keshi, that is Sri Krishna. And Arjuna. So, hearing the conversation between Keshava and Arjuna, Imam, this Punyam, holy, Adbhutam, wonderful, Samvadam, dialogue, Samsmritya, Samsmritya. As I constantly remember it over and again, Samsmritya, remember. Then again Samsmritya, remember. So I remember and remember, means I constantly remember it, over and again I remember it. Muhu, muhu, again it's an alliteration. So it's again and again, Hrishyami, I rejoice. So, O king, as I remember and remember this wonderful and holy dialogue between Keshava and Arjuna, I rejoice again and again. Tacha samsmritya samsmritya Rupamatyadbhutam harehe Vismayo me mahan Rajan Hrishyami cha punah punah. So Rajan, O king, that is Dhritarashtra, harehe, of Hari, tat, that, ati adbhutam, atyadbhutam, most wonderful, rupam, form, samsmritya, samsmritya. As I keep on remembering, why am I remembering this over and again? Because it is difficult for me to forget. It's unforgettable. It has caused such an impression on my mind that I am unable to forget it. As I remember and remember, cha, and may my mahan, great, vismayah, wonder, cha, and aham, I, punaha punaha, again and again, hrishyami, rejoice. So almost the same thing has been repeated in the 77th verse here. So here, why am I remembering, as I told you just now? Because it is, I cannot forget, it is so vivid in front of me, because I saw it. So if you just hear, it's one thing. If you read, it does not make so much of impression on your mind. If you hear, it makes a better impression. But if you see, it makes much more impression. So I remember that again and again, because I have seen it. I have seen it. It's vivid. And it's the most wonderful form of Hari. And this great wonder, I am so wondrous now. And I rejoice again and again. So what is the wonderful form of Hari? That is the form which after some time even Arjuna could not bear to see. That is the form of the cosmic form. Vishwarupa, cosmic form of Sri Krishna, which is showed as in the Bhagavad Gita we see in the 11th chapter. Then the final verse of Bhagavad Gita, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitir Mama. Now, Sanjaya has become so overwhelmed with emotion because he is unable to express his emotion properly. He says, he gives it a consummation kind of, it gives it a conclusion. He says, Yatra, wherever, Yoga Ishwaraha, the Lord of Yoga, Krishna, Yatra, wherever, Dhanurdharaha, one who holds the bow, Partha, son of Pritha, Tatra, there, means wherever Krishna and Partha will be there. Who is Krishna? Krishna is Lord. Who is Partha? Partha is the representative of human being. So Lord and devotee. So wherever Lord will be there, God will be there, and devotee will be there. Tatra. So wherever God is there and devotion, God is there everywhere. God is there everywhere. There is not even a small particle, a speck of dust in this universe where God is not there. So the point is here, God is everywhere, but everywhere devotee is not there. So wherever devotee will be there, wherever people with devotion will be there, Tatra, automatically it means that, because if you logically understand God is everywhere, so if there is no point in saying Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, where God will be there. That means the other meaning could be that God is everywhere but devotees are not there, or the other meaning could be that God has to be invoked. God has to be invoked. So where devotees would invoke God, Tatra, there, Shrihi, prosperity, Vijayaha, victory, Bhutihi, expansion, Dhruva, sound or firm, Nitihi, policy, Iti, such may my matihi. My matihi, that is the conviction of Sanjaya. So wherever there is invocation of God, means wherever God is invoked by the devotee, as here Arjuna, Shadi Mam Tvam Prapannam, I surrender to you, Arjuna said. So wherever God is invoked by a devotee, there will be prosperity, there will be victory, there will be expansion, there will be good policy, firm policy, etc. That is my conviction, says Sanjaya. So with this verse, Bhagavad Gita comes to an end. So does this series of talks called Gita for All. And usually Gita does not end. Gita continues. So the tradition is that one does not end the Gita. One starts again with the first shloka of the Bhagavad Gita. Here this chapter ends. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Moksha Sannyasa Yoga Nama Ashtadashodhyaya. So this ends, here ends Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, in the essence of the Upanishads, Brahma Vidyayam, of the science of Brahman, Yoga Shastre, the scripture or Shastra of Yoga, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the 18th chapter, Ashtadasha Adhyaya, which is called Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. That is the way of liberation in renunciation. So just as I told, we don't stop the Bhagavad Gita with the last verse, we continue. We continue with the first verse, because Bhagavad Gita is essentially, it does not stop. Bhagavad Gita is essentially a thing which is going on continuously. It is like the cosmic order of things. So no scripture ends. Till we get liberation, all scriptures continue to inspire us, continue to goad us to perform our spiritual practices, to realize our true nature. So Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.